Barnstable High School students could have a new schedule before long. We learn more about that effort during our chat with Barnstable High School Principal Patrick Clark on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Monday, December 12th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mannel. A lot is happening. Last week, a workshop was held. The school committee held a workshop talking about changing the high school schedule again. And this basically is just to allow kids to take more classes.
The root of the issue is that the expectations on students in terms of graduation requirements and the Mass Core curriculum, which is the state-approved curriculum coming out of the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed, has increased the rigor of what we need to have in high school to be a graduate. At the same time, college admissions is increasing its rigor, and at the same time, we've expanded our advanced placement offerings over the course of the last 7 years, basically more than doubling, 2.5, increased in 2.5 in number over the last 7 years.
Wow.
So high school is a much more academically rigorous process than it was when many of us went to school. So yes, the main purpose is to provide students with a 7th selection in terms of their courses and making sure that every student is college and career ready, which is the general term that we use to talk about when students leave, are they ready for the next thing?
I think it's also important too, thinking about some of these elective courses, some things that they can have to choose from. One of the things that I hear from my daughter all the time is that she loves school, but it's such a great break for her to have really interesting classes like fashion and some of the really great things that are offered. I know she's been very excited about a journalism program at the high school. You guys offer so many different classes. Do you think changing the schedule a little bit will allow more kids to take advantage of some of those really unique classes that you guys offer?
Absolutely, and that's one of the key reasons why we have to shift to a 7-unit schedule. We have had some programs see a decline in number because students just can't fit it into their schedule. So as the state mandates or our graduation expectations mandate, you move to a couple of world languages and you move to a mandatory fourth year of mathematics, including your senior year. As you increase those, there is a pinch where something else is not accessible, and it ends up being that elective, which might be that strong magnet that draws the students to school in the first place. And you brought up Abby Faye's program in fashion. Phenomenal, right? A fashion show in March that we do. It's a professional organization within our art department.
And one of the things that Ms. Faye does is she really strives to bring in individuals in the industry to talk to kids and to tell them about the different opportunities and what real life work in the fashion industry is like. So really important, I think, for these kids to get an idea of what working in this field might be like, what opportunities there are. So would this also maybe open them up to take internships? Because I know the high school also offers a really great internship program as well.
It's excellent. Right now we have under 100 students, I think just under 100 students involved in internships. And they leave the building for a couple of blocks per day, generally speaking 4 days, and a 5th day that they're there for portfolio work and research about the career field. And the career voc tech ed area, right? We're not a technical school, but we have non-technical school vocational pathways that students can choose in certified nursing or in early childhood and care and hospitality and hospitality and food service. And those are industries around us, right? Cape Cod Healthcare is our largest employer. If you look at the restaurants and the hotels, if you look at what we need for early childhood education for young families, we're trying to feed those parts of our economy and those businesses that are on Cape Cod by introducing students to those areas while in high school. And it's fabulous that we have them.
And we know too, as adults, we know how important those internships are to getting that second internship when you're in college. Sure. Maybe it gives them an edge up. And talking about giving kids an edge up, how does the adding a 7th course affect the GPA? Is this going to help them at all? Or is it really going to make no difference?
Well, there's a lot of research out there around GPA and class rank and what it all means anyway. Because in most cases, colleges have their own metric by which they measure a transcript. Because the way transcripts are measured in different schools is based on local requirements. So if you are applying to Stonehill College, we know that they literally take the red pen, right? Because we have friends who do this for work, and they highlight certain things and they cross off certain things and they do their own measurement. So in some ways, class rank has become somewhat obsolete.
Interesting.
In many Massachusetts schools, as a matter of fact, most of the better high schools in Massachusetts no longer have it. They have different
Really?
they have different methods by which they report in a quadrant or decile system where a student is in comparison to their peers, not an exact class rank. So yes, when you take an additional course, we used to call them quality points, but quality points really still exist. That just means there's a weight of the class, and then that weight all goes into the equation to determine where a student ranks in comparison to their peers. So a 7th class could impact that depending on someone's achievement level and what it is they choose.
Wonderful. You know, want to talk to you about the workshop that was held last week. This is, you know, very interesting because I think teachers really sat down together. Barnstable High School teachers sat down and came up with some really good options for the school committee to consider. Can you talk to me about how the workshop went?
It was an excellent conversation. There were 8 schedules originally that came from the faculty, and some of those schedules came from a prior scheduling committee meeting. And then by looking at Massachusetts regulation, the desired characteristics that the faculty brought forward in terms of a schedule, and then trying to figure out the puzzle from the administrative standpoint of managing a large and complex school, we brought forward through the BHS leadership team 2 finalist schedules. Brent Jansen, who is a social studies and economics teacher, led our committee back from some time ago. One of those schedules is a finalist schedule, and the other one is from Barbara Gleason, who is in our wellness department. So these 2 teacher leaders, like 6 of their peers, came forward with suggestions, and there was a lot of good educational stuff in those schedules. And then the analogy I made is kind of like buying a car. If you had 8 vehicles that were very different, you had to get down to, well, what does the family really need? What do we need for a schedule? And then also the second piece could be, is there a track record, some evidence of quality here? So you kind of have to do a consumer reports type of exercise to narrow it down to 2. And what we have right now, if sticking with the automobile analogy, is we have a Camry and we have an Accord. Right? We have 2 high quality schedules, slightly different features here and there, but both are of quality, both have a good track record. Consumer Reports gives both of them a check plus. So we're happy as to where we are right now.
Exciting. Let's talk about the timeline a little bit if we can. Are we thinking this is something that could go into effect next school year, or is this going to take a little more time to put into place?
This is going to be for the 18-19 school year. So the process of moving a school from one schedule to the other, including budgets and a variety of variables, needs some time to implement. And I think it's great that we have that time. We can really do the work thoughtfully. We can figure out all the different types of courses, both now semesterized and year-long, that increase the options for selection, and how we help all students become college and career ready, whether it's by DESE's definition, Barnstable High School's definition, or all of that together.
We'll be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Barnstable Police Chief Paul McDonald. We'll talk with DPW Director Dan Santos. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.